Now the rain has gone. Wiper fluid clears your windshield of dirt, grime, and flying insects. It's a liquid to love.
The wiper fluid reservoir is real simple to find. It's a transparent jug-like container that holds a blue fluid. If the level is lower than a couple of inches below the top, go ahead and put some more in.
A big jug of wiper fluid found at any store with an auto section costs less than a couple of bucks, so splurge. Any questions? Brakes and brake fluid.
There's a brake on each of the 4 tires on your car. On the front wheels, you probably have disc brakes. These are spinning rotors located right by the tires. When you apply the brakes, a caliper squeezes your brake pads against the sides of the spinning brake rotor. This creates the friction that stops your vehicle.
You probably have drum brakes on your rear tires. These guys are, to no surprise, little drum-shaped thingies. Here, brake shoes pushing against the inside of the spinning brake drum cause the friction.
You also have a parking brake, which keeps you from rolling when you park.
Your brakes use a hydraulic system to magnify their stopping power. It's the job of the master cylinder. Why are we telling you this? Well, to work properly, this system needs a special fluid, brake fluid.
You should check your brake fluid every week. Just check it when you check the other fluids. It's easy, it takes only a couple of minutes, and it could save your life.
You're looking for the master cylinder. You'll find it on the driver's side of the car, near the firewall. The brake fluid reservoir is right there. You want to check the level the same way you check the oil and coolant. If the reservoir isn't clear, loosen the top. You may have to use a wrench. Be sure to clean it off first so that no gunk gets inside. Then take a peek inside. If the fluid's below the full mark or a ½ inch below the top, you should add some more.
Check your owner's manual to see if they specify what DOT grade to use. Because unsealed brake fluid contaminates easily, buy yourself a fresh can. It'll only set you back a couple of bucks. Now, low brake fluid level may mean that it's time to replace your front brake pads.
That's because the master cylinder fluid level goes down as your front brake pads wear. By the time the fluid drops down to the add level, the pads are probably due for a change.
If you find that you're constantly replacing brake fluid, you most likely have a leak. This is a serious matter, so you should have it checked out at once.
Just like with your coolant, brake fluid needs to be flushed and replaced regularly. In this case, every 2 years or every 30,000 miles. Since this is a safety issue, have it done by a pro.
If you have anti-lock brakes, you should have your brake fluid flushed every year. Use the proper brake fluid and don't use DOT5 silicone synthetic fluid in cars with anti-lock brakes.
You can catch brake problems early if you just pay attention. It's time to use your senses again.
Prick up your ears. Do you hear any squealing or grinding when you apply the brakes?
Get in touch with the feeling. Is there a change in the way the brakes feel? Do you have to push down farther, or do the brakes suddenly grab?
Look sharp. Are any brake warning lights coming on?
If you notice any of these conditions, get your car to a professional right away.
Man, I can fix my brake problems with a pair of scissors, a little bit of tape.
Transmissions and transmission fluid.
Transmissions take the energy your engine creates and using gears transmits it to the driving axle. A highly technical way of saying this is transmissions make cars go.
Well, what's the difference between a manual transmission and an automatic transmission?
Simply put, in a manual or standard transmission, you do all the work to change the gears. An automatic does all that gear shifting stuff for you.
I'll bet a $5 that my transmission uses a fluid. Huh? Doesn't it? And another $5 that it needs to be checked periodically.
You just earned yourself 10 bucks. You learned that your car, much like the human body, can function without fluid. To check the fluid in an automatic transmission, your car needs to be hot. This just means that you need to drive it for at least 10 to 20 minutes before testing.
Transmission fluid expands when hot, so you may overfill the reservoir if you check it when the car is cold.
This could be a pricey mistake. An overfilled automatic transmission can be toast in as little as 50 miles. So just make sure you've driven around for a while before you check this fluid.
The car should be on, in park, and with the emergency brake engaged.
Now this task isn't really dangerous, but since your car is running, you want to stay away from any moving parts as you work. Now you're looking for another dipstick. Often the handle will be painted a different color than the engine oil dipstick. Now, once you find it, you want to pull it out and check the color of the fluid on the end. If it's a reddish pink, you've got the right dipstick.
Now follow the same steps for checking the oil.
1. Wipe off the rod with a rag. 2. Reinsert it in the tube. And 3. Pull it out and check the level.
Your dipstick may have any number of marks or words on it, but whatever it says, the correct level will be marked. If your fluid is below this mark, it's time to refill it.
Check your owner's manual for the recommended automatic transmission fluid to use, and when you're at the auto parts store, pick up a small funnel.
Stick the funnel in the dipstick tube and pour in a little bit at a time until the fluid reaches the mark. If your car has a manual transmission, it's a little more involved. Look for a level plug on the side of the transmission, which you'll probably find beside the engine on the passenger side. Take your handy-dandy wrench and unscrew this plug. Stick your pinky in the hole and see if the transmission fluid comes up to that level. If not, add some more through this hole until the level comes up to the bottom of the hole. And be sure to use the lubricant specifically recommended by your car's manufacturer. For best results, check this fluid every few weeks.
In order to get the longest life from an automatic transmission, it should be serviced no less than every 2 years or 24,000 miles, whichever comes first. As with the coolant, never let the transmission fluid change color. Color changes come from deterioration, and that means internal transmission damage has occurred. Make sure you use the proper transmission fluid. There's a proper fluid for each and every car on the road. Using the wrong fluid can significantly reduce the life expectancy of a transmission. So check your owner's manual or service manual.
Power steering fluid.
Some cars use a fluid that makes steering easier. Some smaller cars don't have it, but if yours does, you need to check it once a week. Again with the once a week? I have a life.
The power steering fluid reservoir is located near the fan belt at the front of the engine. Like the coolant, it has a full line on it. If the fluid is below the line, then it's time to add some more. Your owner's manual will tell you what specific fluid to use.
Power steering fluid takes the same beating as all the other fluids in your car, but it's seldom changed. The truth is, power steering fluid should also be changed and the system flushed every 2 years or 24,000 miles.
It's tire time now. We'll tell you everything you need to know about our rubber buddies. How to buy them, check them, rotate them, and change them if they're flat.
Tires.
Ah, the wheel, linchpin of our civilization. Truly, this is where the rubber meets the road. Tires are a part of your car's steering and suspension system. It includes the steering column, shock absorbers, struts, and finishes with the all-important roundies.
All the rubber in the Malay Peninsula won't help you if you don't have air. With tires, it's all about air pressure. We measure it in PSI, or pounds per square inch.
At what air pressure should your tires be? Go back to the old owner's manual or check the inside of your driver's door. There's a good chance it'll be posted there. Chances are your recommended PSI will be between 24 and 34. Don't go by the PSI on the side of your tire.
One of the most important things that you can do for your car is keep the tires inflated to their correct air pressure. Underinflation reduces both gas mileage and tire life. It's real easy to check the tire pressure.
If possible, your tires should be cold, so the best time to check them is in the morning.
First, pull out your handy-dandy tire gauge and choose a tire. Next, find the valve stem. It's the doohickey on the wheel rim. Unscrew the cap if it has one.